I'm gonna be 100% honest. I've realized something going into this new year. I'm making really dramatic changes and starting to move in a direction of like really prioritizing getting back to what I want to do because I'm realizing I'm reaching an age steadily where the time where that is still an available thing for me to do is slipping away. Amidst all the things going on in the world is always going to be this volatile, chaotic mess of nonsense. And we've been all kind of collectively sucked into the ideological bickering and quarreling of the most, control freak behavior. And it's sad to really come to the conclusion that the lowest common denominator of human beings is basically trying to lord and run and rule our life and act not as a moral authority necessarily, but a fucking it's this quality that I refer to as the reverse puritanicalism. It's this ideological crusade of deconstructing and devaluing everything, and it has seeped and leaked into every aspect of our society and civilization. Whatever ideals or ideologies, whatever the fuck people think, they're trying to argue for, it's this accelerated race to the bottom of the barrel to destroy society and civilization, everything people have worked for, and all the practicality of keeping, a system somewhat running. I know our system isn't perfect. I know Western civilization kind of fucking sucks. The reality is, everyone around you, from your neighbors to your family, whether you like them or not, has to slave and sacrifice bits and portions of their lives just to keep everything perpetually going. Yeah, there's a lot of problems and issues. What's up, Tila? Um, but I look right now at the goals that I'm chasing and the things that I want to do. And the fact has really come into my mind. Holy shit. I was almost subverted and sidetracked and waysided my own dreams and ambitions for a quality of life that would have not necessarily guaranteed me less because I'm a minimalist. I'm just practical and savvy with my resources, but would have put me in a condition, and is continuously right now putting me in a condition where I'm not even in a leviable state of surviving what is necessary to even exist in my own fucking country. Whether I agree or disagree with everything in the country going on, I still gotta live and abide here. And the reality is, no, you shouldn't have to fucking conform to every single ideological reason and implementation and rationalization as to why to give your time and an expenditure of your lifetime to a fully automated machine that keeps you trapped and gridlocked for 40 to 60 fucking years of your life, if not your whole life, doing shit you don't want to do just so you can survive. Call it whatever ideology you want. The reality of what the system imposes on people, it's borderline fucking archonic. It is slavery with extra steps. The reality is we're all living through that right now. The reality is there are people who are skirting around the issue and benefiting off this, and they don't want this issue fixed. They don't want this issue solved. The reality is the only way it's going to come to, an inevitable practical sound approach is if people start collectively disbarring and disagreeing to participate in certain aspects of the rap race. certain corporate interests that just don't serve the fucking people and the public and the populace in a good way. You know, there are certain businesses that are making vast amounts, huge amounts of money off shit that is just impractical, not healthy, not rational. The game is what it is. They say, don't hate the player, hate the game. The reality is, the game is rigged in the favor of players who, by their nature, fucking corrupt and destroy and attempt to pose a very problematic way of living that subjugates people and pushes them into a condition where all of what they have worked and strived to achieve and do just to have a modest way of living, they want to return them back to a fucking medieval paradigm of living. And you know what? I don't have a problem living very minimalistically because I like going out and just living and abiding in the vehicle of the body. I like using my body. I like being active. I like dancing. I get my entertainment from music and shit like that. There's a lot of resources I don't need, let alone require. But this world makes a premium out of the bare necessities in order to survive. And you shouldn't need all this shit to live life. You shouldn't require to have to pay $200 fucking dollars to live your life in a black mirror and go through a process that requires so much demand beyond what most people are capable of actually fucking affording, let alone providing with their circumstances at a time period like this. And another reality is the wealth of multiple generations was essentially stolen and scammed from the middle and lower class and has turned them into an underclass and pushed them into a position that essentially is equivalent to living back in the fucking 1800s. Tell me that's fair. Bullshit. There's nothing fair and practical and pragmatic about this world right now. And at the same time, I don't think the solution is to just fucking destroy everything and obliterate everything people have to live through and work on just to have a semblance of life with a civil war over ideological bickering and quarreling, trying to push and impose and implement fucking systems that are the perfect road for a more totalitarian style civilization. The founding fathers warned this day would come, whether you agree or disagree with them, and that we have to skirt around the ideological issues of what people say or cannot say because they use this deconstructionist lens to fucking knock down and knock back every opinion, but they put themselves and pedestalize themselves on top of everybody like they are an authority, is fucking ridiculous. The reality of the voices that dominate the airwaves with the language and the attempt of emotional appeal and manipulation, that's all it is. They're paper tigers, but we're letting them rule and lord and make the decisions of where all of our lives are going. And they want to subjugate most people's quality of life and living. They want to destroy the foundation of everything everybody has worked upon, eroded away, and push and press people into being essentially fucking factory laborers, and to live an entire life like that. Whether you like America or you don't like America, the reality is we're not fucking communist China. We're not Soviet Russia. We don't hold and have the values of these kinds of ideas. We're a dynamic place where we are supposed to be allowed a level and degree of freedom to walk about this world, pursuing and bringing things into the world that actually fucking matter. To have a level and degree of a quality of life that facilitates being able to go out and live and exist in a way that doesn't just make us fucking goose-stepping mechanical apparatuses, working for corporations that don't care whether we live or die. We are not here to facilitate and build the success of a bunch of fucking tyrannical kingdoms of authority and corporate interest for other people to fucking rule our lives. I think to a level and degree there are various things, various industries that are necessary, but making life just a fucking syndicate of businesses that basically act as a new age kingdom, a new age aristocracy, and people ponying up and vying for fucking participation points in that, thinking they're going to just ascend a level and degree of getting a more lavish lifestyle out of destroying the fabric of society and civilization and coming to a point and position where they completely fucking ruin and jeopardize all of the people living around them's lives. And that's not going to hold a repercussion for you, even if you get what you want, even if you strive for the downfall and collapse of Western civilization. The people that you have sucked up to, they are going to turn around and gun you down. You are a useful idiot. And people need to fucking hear this. These ideologies and the things that they want to implement in Western civilization, because they have been conditioned and brainwashed to think we are some kind of fucking boogeyman to the world. They exist the way they do because there has always been a level and degree of corruption and external influences in our fucking government. And the can gets kicked down the road. People rob and jeopardize and threaten the future stability of this country. No, our country is not perfect. No, its history is not grand and glorious. But take a look at the history of most of the world around you, and what you will find is that it is rooted and mired in dark draconian shit. We are not far flung into the future and in a fucking Star Wars paradigm, if you haven't realized that. We just came out of an age of very bare bone, almost alchemical industrialization with the machines and the technology we've developed. We are very young when it comes to the age of technology. And the unfortunate thing is we are surrendering our autonomy and our free will to that technology, and it is basically replacing us as a being on this planet. We have forgotten the very principle and quality of what it means to exist, because it is so ideologically embridled in the arguing and the lamenting of tenets. We've entirely forgot that the entire point and purpose of living and existing is to actually live and exist, not to abide as a fucking mechanical automaton. We are supposed to exist and cohabitate in a formality of diatribe amidst one another's. We lift one another up. We work together. Well, you cannot work together in a world that divides every little fucking detail and portion, and these people who sow discord and division intentionally on purpose to stoke issues, they want that conflict, they want that argument, and nothing is ever good enough for them because they intentionally thrive off bringing misery and suffering to other people. They are open conduits for sowing chaos and discord, and they do it intentionally, and they fucking know it. Why? Because they're miserable, because they don't want to produce a quality of effort in this life, pursuing their own ambitions. They want everything handed fucking to them. They don't care who they have to step on and walk over and sabotage and ruin in order to get the things that they think they deserve. When they don't fucking work for it, when they don't go for those ambitions, when they surrender to the bare fucking minimum and then are, bewildered as to why the quality of their life doesn't improve. The reality is, most of you out here doing this, you have weak fucking minds and weak fucking wills. And that is not an insult. That's a weight and measure and a test of your fucking humanity telling you to step the fuck up. You want things in this world. You want a good quality of life. It starts with you. It starts improving with you when you choose to improve your life and the quality of life. Not by sabotaging and destroying the lives of your fellow fucking human beings around you, who have slaved away and sacrificed to produce the very world that you're so fucking fed up with. Well, that's the best they could do. Because the reality is, there's always been a long line of lineages that come into this world and try to tear and erode and break down the fabric of everything. Yeah, not everything in this world is hunky-dory. Not everything in this world is okay. But trying to make it a better place for everybody comes with a level and degree of understanding and mutually understanding that human beings have always been in a condition where they're pressed into having to suffer and slave away and sacrifice to uphold and protect and build a better world for everyone. If you don't fucking like that, it doesn't get better by sowing discord and chaos and destruction to other people's fucking lives. That jeopardizes and ruins everything. It destroys everything that humanity has worked to preserve. It completely sets back the clockwork of everything that we have aspired and moved towards the direction of preserving and improving. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. It just takes simple fucking observation. There's a flow and a current in the direction of people coming into this world who try to make the world a better place and a better circumstance and improve upon what the predecessors of them have facilitated. It gets better with time when we work together to make it a better place. The reality is, a lot of people hide behind that mask and veneer of saying, yeah, I want to make the world a better place. They take the mantle of other people willing to put in the work and the effort to make the world a better place through their actions and their deeds. But then they live a life and an existence that is solely based upon kicking other people down the ladder, climbing and ascending the fucking hierarchy of the world, and pulling the ladder up behind them, and destroying the lives of other people. And then you sit and you stagnate the progress of humanity to a level and degree that completely fucking annihilates and destroys all paths and avenues towards making the world a better place. And you become a fucking detriment and jeopardize the state of the world itself as a resulting consequence of that. So nothing gets better. We fall into a more fucking medieval way of living and a dark age when that happens. And you will watch everything that you think you deserve, everything you think you ought to have out of life, the quality of life you desire so much, slowly fade away and die and wither from your grasp with the people that come into this world to provide and facilitate that to you. The misery and the discord and the chaos and the fucking destruction people sow for their inconceivably naive ambition of milking and getting what they want out of the world at any and all cost jeopardizes everything. Because the world is not just about you. Everybody around you has to live and exist in some formality in this world, in this lifetime, providing a little bit and piece of themselves to facilitate and lift and carry and shoulder one another's burdens. The world is not about sacrifice as in slaving away. It shouldn't be like that. I'll admit it. It should not be like that. It has been made that by people intentionally trying to stagnate and stop the growth of humanity, the evolution and the adaptation of our explorations into technology and science that are far too rooted in a materialistic aspect, far too rooted in an ambition of creating more control mechanisms that push and press everything into this weird, sadomasochistic, self-destructive, ideological prison system. Because we can't trust people, you wouldn't have to worry about the human condition and whether or not people are trustworthy if you weren't trying to pit and turn them against one another and get them to fucking destroy one another. There are ways to bridge the gaps between ideological differences. There are ways to facilitate and communicate better ways of going, better ways of being, better ways of improving the world. The problem is people in positions of power and authority and those seeking power and authority don't want that. They want control. They want dominion. And you actively stand in the way of the world becoming a better place for unilaterally everyone because you don't understand. That also facilitates a better quality of life to you when you fucking step and tread on and impose your will on trying to oppress and deconstruct and put other people fucking down. You stop and slow the progress of the world from getting anywhere better. And it always returns to the same game. It will return to the rise of fucking more empirical systems, totalitarian regimes, warmongers and warlords, fighting, unnecessary death, destruction, and major setbacks that will return the world to a less fucking habitable place, a more hostile, barbaric place. This ain't fucking prophecy, it's common sense, goddammit. And people enacting and willing that into existence and wanting to make that the reality, you have to be delusionally fucking self-obsessed and disturbed psychologically and have completely fucking lost the plot to crave and desire that you get everything you want at the cost of the world if you can't have it. Whether you believe that there is some kind of existence after this or not, whether you believe in a concept maybe like reincarnation, where is there to go if you destroy the fucking planet? In ideological wars and warfares that can end in cataclysms. And on a smaller level and degree, when you destroy the fabric of reality around you, what do you expect to get out of the world when you actually destroy the people facilitating the current quality of life and the standard of living that you have? You get nothing. Now you have to fucking pick up the work and the mantle of constructing whatever stupid fucking world you're trying to build. Have fun with that. Reconstructing and reconfiguring society and civilization and having to fend off all other, people who also want to vie and compete for that because you jeopardize the very fucking thing keeping you alive, keeping you safe, giving you the quality of life that you currently have. Just wasn't fucking good enough? No, you were entirely fucking embridled in selfishness and greed and vanity and pride. God damn it. That's how people become the very thing that they fear. You become a force of fucking destruction and parasitic to the world. And you fucking destroy the world as a byproduct of that. Maybe it's just a big fucking game to you. Maybe you've spent too much time looking at media and movies that convince you that that's what this is. But for many people, the real world, this is their reality. This is their fucking home. This is their fucking planet. This is their fucking life that they came here to contribute and do something in and with. That their ancestors and their blood lineages slaved away and fucking sacrificed and died for at times. That had unfair circumstances put on their shoulders and burdens that were not fair that they had to bear so that their progeny, the next generation of people, could come into this life and hopefully fucking constitute something better for themselves and for everyone. We are throwing away everything in the pursuit of something that is straight out of a fucking science fiction novel from hell. to bring about not a better circumstance for the world, but a circumstance that will literally fucking jeopardize and destroy this planet, thinking we're making progress in the right direction. But the reality is, we've needed to simplify and minimalize our lives and our lavish fucking expenditures and lifestyles for a good portion of time, but not in a way that turns us into a fucking totalitarian state. The exuberant expenditures on fucking luxury commodities and luxury poverty are keeping people distracted from being able to facilitate and make any change. And in between that, we've been interjected with bickering and quarreling over ideologies and people attempting to suppress people's voices. In a free fucking country where we exist, that First Amendment right still applies. And I might be a pacifist, but fuck, there are a lot of people who will definitely fucking utilize that Second Amendment right that exists in this world. Don't shoot the messenger. I don't gotta lift a fucking finger. There's plenty of other people that already have it on the trigger. You don't understand the framework and the architecture of the very fucking fabric of what built this country to the level and degree of complexity that actually encapsulates and encompasses its history. You've been taught and conditioned to believe it is based on certain kind of theosophical principles, but it is far more complex than that. It has a history deeply rooted and seated in a long-spanning story that has fucking gone over the course of a multiplicities of countries and civilizations, and the threat and jeopardy of people in positions of power and authority attempting to suppress and control the ability for populaces and people to have a free, autonomous life, not controlled by authority figures, not ideologically suppressed by authority figures, so that your life is not steered and governed in a direction where people tell you who to be, what to think, what to feel. Because the reality is, these people want to use you to build a civilization that benefits them and keeps you enslaved. It's that fucking simple. This year, people need to just stop fucking arguing with the people acting like delusional psychopaths wandering this world. You cannot reason with fucking crazy. And these people have wasted years of our lives, jeopardized our pursuits, jeopardized our ambitions, kept us from building better fucking routes and avenues and directions and alternative ways of living, alternative fucking business models, alternative companies and corporations that don't fall into the hands of the control schema of this attempt to impose a fully automated system and civilization that basically is just a fucking living expenditure and paywall of your entire life to a subscription service. That is a country of indentured servitude and debt slavery for a lifetime. In that model, nobody is free. You will not own anything. And any of the people thinking they're going to benefit or rise and ascend the ranks of such a country by facilitating the kind of actions and behaviors that they are taking right now to dismantle the current country, you are in for a rude fucking awakening, because the reality is the people that implanted these ideas in you are using you, and they will turn on you and stab you in the back. Because the reality is, you are the progeny of this fucking country that you don't realize you are acting against and betraying. They don't want you. They are using you as a path and avenue to facilitate them gaining and garnering this fucking country and its resources and a populace that they can control for themselves. You will be pushed down the fucking stairs like everybody else, to go work in the fields like everybody else. And if you disagree with that, these people will fucking resort to violence. These people that want to control your life will take away your ability to defend yourself and potentially jeopardize you or your families. They will kill you and your loved ones. You are not playing with a safe fucking ideology. You are playing with Promethean fire to a level and degree that can destroy and erode the fabric of not just one civilization, but multiple civilizations. Ideologues like Marx, there's a reason he got labeled by the people around him and by his own fucking self-proclaimed moniker as a devil. Because the dude had no fucking humanity. He hated humanity. He despised humanity. The entire schema of what he built and constructed out of that ideology was the perfect control mechanism for dictators and tyrants to ascend and fucking abolish democracy, abolish republics, and replace them with an old paradigm of hierarchical kingdoms that introduce or reintroduce and refacilitate the rise of totalitarian civilizations and enslave people. Give them all the power and control and authority over the resources, the knowledge, the history, everything. And you step out of line in something like that to a smidge and a degree with a society and a civilization that is delusional on power and is paranoid as that, there will not be an action that you can take to fucking correct that mistake. Stalin killed vast swaths of the Russian populace. Learn about people like Pol Pot. If you want to go further back into understanding tyranny and the insanity of it, read about Caligula. We are going in that direction, and there are people facilitating the paths and avenues to that with this deconstructionist ideology. I'm not targeting one particular ideology. These are just examples of figures in history, by the way. I'm not getting political here. The reality is people are using language meant to degrade and erode and deconstruct and use appeal to emotion to skirt around logic and reason, to skirt around knowledge and history, to try and distort and manipulate and control language and what people can and cannot say, what people can and cannot exemplify that is